Welcome back to Copenhagen Blue. We're going to do something on the Kia today, and that's change transmission fluid on a car with 160,000 miles. Some people say you shouldn't do it. What do you think? Let's get started. To start, we have a 17 millimeter bolt that is on the transmission pan. Normally, they don't give you a drain plug on transmission, so I'm kind of surprised, but I don't think this thing's ever been apart. We're going to see, hopefully, how bad this fluid is, and I have a new filter to put in there. We're going to get this little splash arrow panel out of the way. It's cool. It's totally cool. All right, let's see if we could, well, the drain bolt came undone really easily. Let's try and be smart about this. Let's see what kind of fluid we're dealing with. Goes. Oh, that's beautiful. Black gold, Texas tea. Holy crap, is that some dark fluid. Wow. Freaking dork transmission fluid. Wow, oh wow. Well, let's hope that let's hope this wasn't a mistake, but it doesn't seem to be glittery. We don't have sparkles, so that's a good sign, but holy crap, is that some black fluid. All right, we're gonna let that drain for a while. All right, well, we let this thing sit and drain like it's life depended on it, and it's a lot of fluid that came out of there. It's pretty nasty looking, but it's not sparkly, so that's a good sign for a transmission. That is some black fluid. I don't think I've ever seen transmission fluid that dark, but that's a solid like gallon that came out of there. Let's get our 17 millimeter drain plug back in here. Tighten that down. We don't need to worry about tightening that down too much because we're going to pull our pan off here in just a second. I'm pretty sure those are probably like 10 millimeters. So let's get all these bolts out from the pan and get that down. Well, somebody's been in here before. I was looking at the bolts, and you can see that there's actually some silicone on there, and it's kind of peeking out. So someone at some point has had this pan down, which I'll take as a good thing. Means maybe they actually maintain this. I mean, it was old man owned, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything good. Let's drop this pan and see what we get. Let's thread a bolt or so back in here, just so this thing doesn't go dropping on us and make a mess. All right. This way, at least our pan doesn't come dropping down on our head and make a huge mess. Mess, maybe, but not hopefully huge. We're just, there we go. All right. Broke that seal. All right. There we are, Governor. There we go. All right. Beautiful. Still quite a bit of fluid in that pan. Probably a good idea we're doing this filter because it looks a little bit nasty up in there. So probably a good idea we didn't just do a drain and fill. All right, when it comes to automatic transmission filters, I've actually had some pretty good luck with Beck Arnley. They come from Rock Auto, at least that's where I've gotten them from. As far as a filter goes, we've got a nice media here on the inside. Looks like 4 bolts that hold it down. A nice cork gasket, and this one came with rubber gaskets instead of the ATV that we had been using. ATV? ATF. No, ATF is automatic transmission. RTV. The RTV. So we're going to see if these rubber gaskets will work, because I'd much rather use that than RTV. I really don't like RTV if I can avoid it. So let's see how this works out. Smells new. But let's see how the other filter looks after we take it down. All right, we do actually have not 1, but 2, 3, 4, 5 magnets in the bottom of this pan. You can actually see, I've put my finger in a few of them, but they have some metal on them, but for 160,000 miles, not much. Now, like I said, somebody's obviously been in here since we have a globbed on RTV. So who knows, these might have been cleaned off previously. This could kill the transmission, or it could keep going. I guess we'll find out. Let's get that filter down. All right, let's take down our 5 bolts for the filter. Hang on. Wrong way. 1, Woohoo! 3.
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. 3.
4. All right. Now we're probably going to get another gush of fluid. And we do. I never assume anymore that it's drained. No, it's never drained. Not when you think it's drained. Looking at our filter here, it actually just looks pretty saturated. I don't see any big chunks. There's no big chunks of metal or anything, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot happier sucking that fresh fluid through a new filter. Well, we need to get a razor out here, which we're going to. We're going to scrape all this old gasket material off of here. Might actually have to end up using one of those whiz wheels, but let's see how much we can scrape off first before we have to try and clean that up. Wee bit of progress here. I've gotten all the gasket material cleaned off. I'm debating on whether or not I want to use the rubber gasket or whether I want to use RTV. I want to say I've been down this road before and I tried a gasket and it didn't work, but then I have a rubber gasket on the journey and I don't know. Decisions. I guess I'm going to try the rubber gasket and we're going to see how it goes. We have our magnets all cleaned up and we're going to put those right back down there. So we've got all of our magnets in there. And now we're just going to, we have to clean up the engine side, which shouldn't be too hard. And then we're going to get it all put back up. Trying to get this gasket material off isn't too bad, but man, oh man, some of this area over by the cradle is really, really tight. And I'm trying to just kind of scrape backwards with the razor because you don't want to gouge the aluminum. But man, is it really, really tricky in some spots, but it's coming clean. We'll get there. We've got it all cleaned up. I think we've got a pretty good surface there. I, against my better judgment, used a little bit of Scotch Brite pad just to try and remove some of the stuff that's there, because there's some marks here that I really want to try and soften out too, some scratches. So I think we're going to put the filter up and the pan up and cross our freaking fingers. There we go. I would never recommend putting filter bolts in with a, automatic anything. I'm just being very, very gentle with this. I'm going slow, making sure that it starts to thread and not cross thread, because that's the real risk, is cross threading. But I'm just going on until it just tightens down just a little bit. That's about all. It really shouldn't take much more than that, if anything. I'm going to go double check the spec on it, but we're going to clean up our surface here in the meantime while I'm waiting for that info. All right. The gasket went on better than I anticipated, so I'm, fingers crossed, optimistic, right? We're going to torque this down to 140 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds of torque, and we're going to go around the pan evenly and distribute that force. And hopefully, next thing we do, we add the fluid. It's all bolted up, did 140 inch-pounds of torque all the way around. I went back and forth first, and then I went all the way around to make sure that everything was snug. Now, let's put some fluid in it. All right. I know that the guy told me when I bought this, it was a kid, and he said that it was his uncle's car. His uncle passed away. But knowing that this is a old man-owned car, this is some proof right here. A key taped to the front bumper. I actually thought that it was just holding some, of the air dam together or something, but turns out there's a key inside of here, and that's probably been there quite a while. Oh, ooh, that's the OG Kia key too. Or he probably forgot that he even put this here, and he's just been running off of spare keys. That's kind of cool. Let's get some transmission fluid inside of you. See if we can make you a happy car again. Now I did note this did come with 2 gaskets. This one does not fit, so there must have been 2 different styles of pan. But that one that I had right there is not what I needed. So off to the side you go. Filling up the transmission looks pretty simple. We've got a filler right down here. So we're gonna pull that out. We already know a gallon came out, so that's about what we're going to put in to start. For our fluid here, we're going to use Valvoline MaxLife. I've had really good luck with this. We're going to put it in, and it seems to mix really well with everything that's already in there from the factory. 4 quarts is what we're going to start with because that's what we got out. We've got our fluid filled up. We're going to set this to the side. We're going to check. Even though you check your transmission fluid once it's warmed up and it's running, we're just going to make sure that we actually have fluid registering on the stick, which it's all the way up to here. It should suck in quite a bit into the torque converter. But we're going to start it up and see where we're at. In neutral, it's up to temp almost. Well, at least the engine is. The transmission's probably not. Let's see where we're at. We're not registering on the stick. Now, I do know we have this obviously up in the air a little bit, so things are kind of lean back. But I'm still going to put a little bit more fluid in until we start to register. It was about another half a quart. Well, we've got it all filled up with the transmission fluid. We're registering on the stick as she's warm and in neutral. We've got it right up to about hot, which is what I want. No leaks under here. Everything is looking good. And I think we are in business. So if this is something you want to try and tackle in your driveway, it's not a very hard job. It's something you could do with a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, but you could change your own transmission fluid on the Kia. And being that it's moving forward at 160,000 miles, I mean, once I put some mileage on it, we'll find out and I'll have to update you, but it looks like it's going to drive. So fingers crossed. But I appreciate you taking time to watch. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Do I have audio? I have audio. Okay. Just making sure. You know, thing recorded a whole bunch of crap without audio before. That drove me nuts.